Welcome to Wholesale Roaches. I'm TJ, and today we're going to go over how to make bug burger. So first I'm going to show you how to make it our way, and then we'll follow the directions a little bit better. And then from there we'll make it a couple of different ways to maybe help you troubleshoot any issues you're having with your bug burger. So the thing to remember with bug burger is to get a good consistency, you need two things: temperature and correct ratios. So they recommend a 3-to-1 ratio. That seems to work perfect every time we use it. So 3-to-1 is the ratio to go with. It doesn't matter the size of the container. The big thing is that you get 3 parts water to 1 part bug burger. The other part is that you need to make sure that you get it to a high temperature. They want it over 180 degrees. If you get somewhere close, you're good. The way we like to do it is we boil water, and we'll put it in the container, and then we add the bug burger to it. The reason for that is that you get a lot of evaporation if you add this to the water and you wait for it to boil. So it turns out much thicker or denser. So that does work. It's a little more foolproof, and you have a higher success rate. So I see why they recommend that, but I like to have the exact amount of water. So we'll put in 3 parts water into the container, and then we'll add the 1 part of bug burger to that. All right, so I made sure the water was nice and boiling by spilling it on my hands while I brought it in here. So one thing to keep in mind is that every time you transfer the water, so I transfer it to this container, it's gonna pull heat away from it. I transfer it to this container, it's gonna pull heat away from it. Once I add the bug burger, it's gonna pull heat away from it. Whenever I start stirring it, it's adding air, it's pulling heat away from it. So you have to start with it at the highest temperature as possible, and that's why you want to go with boiling water. So I like to add it to the water instead of putting the powder in first and then adding the water to it, because it all clumps to the bottom and it makes it very hard to stir up. So if you add it to the water, it kind of sits on the surface tension at first. It makes it easier to mix up. So from here, you just want to mix it up really thoroughly, and you want to have it about the consistency of pancake batter. Do the shake bounce thing just because of the bubbles bother me. You don't have to do that. All right, so let's say you're making a smaller amount. So I did same ratio, 3-to-1. So you can pour that into a mold or do whatever you like with it. All right, so let's get to testing. Let's do what I think most people do or attempt to do, and that's hot water right out of the faucet. Most households, their faucet is around 125 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. That's to protect from scalding. Here in my house, it's set at 160 degrees Fahrenheit because we don't care about those things. Mixed up pretty well. I'm just going to stick everything in these same containers. That way everything's nice and fair. All right, this one is going to be room temperature. So this water, I cleaned this out and put new water in it, and it's at about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so now let's read the instructions. What they say is, so we're gonna mix 1 part powder into not more than 3 parts water. Stir until blended. Microwave until it starts to boil. Remove and stir. All right, so I'm gonna take this, microwave it to boil, which is generally about 2 minutes. Stir it up and I'll bring it back. All right, so this is after microwave, brought to a boil. Has a pretty good consistency. It's a little bit thicker, that's to be expected. Because like I said, you get a lot more evaporation doing it this route. All right, so we have our boiling hot water. Again, we're gonna overhydrate, we're gonna underhydrate. No, we're gonna underhydrate, then we're gonna overhydrate. So I'm not going to underhydrate a lot, because I think what happens is people actually do measure out 3. All right. So this is not the problem. The problem is they're not getting measured. So what happens is you should measure out where your water's at. So it should look something like this. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see that, but that's what you should measure. What happens is people do something like this. They just get a big heaping scoop. And now your ratio is way off, because you gotta remember there's 3 parts water to every 1 part of the Bug Burger. So we gotta add quite a bit more water to this to make it correct, but we're not gonna do that. So you can see I measured out 3 parts water to this, and I measured out 1 part Bug Burger. I just made the Bug Burger a heaping scoop compared to the normal scoops of water. It seems pretty harmless, and they will eat this. It's just, you can see this is a much different, it's like dough, I guess, but anyway. So we're doing the same thing that we did before. We're just kind of under scooping. So we just didn't get quite a full scoop this time. All right, so we have overhydrated, not by much though. Again, I put the 3 scoops of water in, and I put the 1 scoop of Bug Burger in. I just didn't fill it up all the way. You know, it was like 3/4 of the way, let's say. So just a lazy scoop went in there. This one, again, I did 3 scoops of water, 1 scoop of Bug Burger, but I over scooped it. So I put a heaping scoop on top of this. So still 3 to 1, but you can see slight variations change it quite a bit. Here we see how heat affects it. So this is the one that was microwaved. I mean, these are pretty close to ready to go. Whenever they get room temperature, they'll be ready to go. It's not quite there. So this one was microwaved. This was following the instructions exactly as it was on the Bug Burger. And I don't see how you can make it wrong if you follow those instructions. This one here was just mixed up at room temperature. I just don't think it can ever solidify. You don't have any heat component in this, so the only binding factor in this is how much water can this absorb. So I think it'll stay like this the whole time, but we'll let it sit a while. This, all the ratios are correct, except for we used hot tap water. So it was probably around 130 degrees Fahrenheit. This, we mix a small amount exactly the same way that we mix this. We just mix it at the same time. So we'll give this a few minutes to, well, longer, a few minutes to try to let everything solidify, see what its final state is going to be. All right, it's time for the big reveal. So this is the official method. And, you know, I mean, it's dense, it's moist, it's, it looks like burger. I mean, it looks like what it is, bug burger. So this is perfect, right? I think this is exactly what they're looking for when they made this product. If you follow the instructions, it comes out exactly as it should. So that's what everything else is going to get measured against. This was just a small amount. Well, I guess we could do the big first. So this is how I like it, or how we like to make it here. So there's a little bit higher water content, so it's not as dense. I don't know if you guys are able to see that, but it's not as dense. This definitely has more moisture in it. More moisture can lead to mold issues. It can lead to pest issues. So this is a safer bet if you have to leave it in the bin for extended periods of time. You know, you should remove anything after 24 hours. We obviously go through a ton of bug burgers, so it's not an issue we have. So this is how we like it. This is a small amount, same method. So small amount, same method, same result. So these two methods, the only difference, the ratios, everything's the same. The only difference is you add the bug burger to this, and then you microwave it for a couple minutes until it's boiling, and it comes out much thicker. On this one, you boil the water, and then you add exactly a 3-to-1 ratio. All right, so now we get into some possible issues. This one was made with tap water that was just really hot, and you can see it still has not solidified. I don't know that it will, just because you need that heat element for it to solidify. So the top kind of looks like it's gonna happen, but it's not. It's like I don't know, it's like baby food, I guess. You can see. So they'll still eat this. This is like a slurry. What I would probably do is mix up a little more water, a little more bug burger, heat it up in the microwave, and get it to the right consistency. So you can salvage this. It's not bad. You don't have to throw it out. But obviously don't use hot tap water. Next one is room temperature. And yeah, there's nothing that will cause it to bind together. So this is what you get. So don't use room temperature. I mean, that seems to go without saying. All right, this one is overhydrated. So overhydrated, it's a bit of a slimy feel. It doesn't hold together very well. So you can see it just looks really saturated. If you can see that. So it does hold together, but if you see that it has a weird consistency, that's because you're not adding enough bug burger to water ratio. All right, and this is just if you add a little bit too much, it's dense. It's super dense. Again, it's usable. I would say it's like maybe like a clay filling, perhaps a dry meatloaf. So not quite a burger. But anyway, it's usable. You can put it in there, they'll eat it. But this is an indication that you don't have the right ratio. You're not using enough water. Oh, one other thing real quick on here. Cleanup. So it looks messy, but if you let it dry, it just comes right off. So if you need to clean around the edges, you can see it comes off pretty much like tissue paper. So no worries on cleanup. All right, well, thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned something. Hope it'll help you out a little bit. It's more than you ever want to know about bug burger. Next time we'll do some hydro load. Anyway, thanks for watching.